Hi Virgo, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. So this is going to be your love and spirituality reading for the rest of January, and this will be for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And I will also be doing a 2019 energy spread for you over on Vimeo, so make sure you check that out when you are done with this one. It will be in the description box down below. So let's get into it, Virgo. So what are the messages for the Virgo collective for the rest of January? Six of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, the Magician. So it looks like in the past you were taking care of somebody in some way. I feel like you met someone who you possibly could have felt a bit sorry for, or you could have saw a lot of yourself in them, so you wanted to help them in some way, with the Six of Pentacles being here. Sometimes the Six of Pentacles talks about an uneven or an imbalanced situation where one is giving more than the other, and I can kind of pick up that energy for this card, but I really feel like it's less that this person was taking advantage and more that this person just really needed some type of help, or they weren't very stable, and you could have tried to help them become stable in some way. And the Queen of Cups card is here, so there could have been some codependency involved in this connection. So you could have had a codependent attachment to them, or they could have had a codependent attachment to you. But either way, it looks like the couple or the people involved in this were not equipped for there to be balance. Because usually when there's codependency involved in a connection, it's like there's no pleasing either partner or either party. Because the one who's over giving, it's like they're being drained. And then the one who is taking a lot, they are never satisfied either. So they're constantly draining the person. So there's just something imbalanced about both of your energies in some way, shape, or form. So just take it as it resonates. But I just don't feel like I don't feel like anything malicious necessarily was going on. That could be the case, but I just really feel like you and someone you were involved with just really weren't in the right headspace, or weren't balanced energetically in order to have a healthy exchange with each other. The Magician card is here, so I feel like you did want to make the relationship work, or I feel like you were trying to continuously keep the relationship alive. For some of you, this could have been the other person too, who was really working to try to hold on or to manifest a happy ending in this relationship, but something was just off about it, is what I'm seeing. Let me clarify these. The Chariot, the Five of Swords, and the Four of Cups. Okay, so it looks like the person that you were involved with, if this was a love relationship, it looks like there was just a lot of ego, like a lot of ego clashing, a lot of fights, arguments, a lot of wanting to get the upper hand. And then one person just got tired of it and decided that it wasn't worth fighting for anymore, or just wasn't worth it anymore. So they just kind of gave up the fight. With this Chariot card being here, yeah, this is definitely someone walking away. I'm not sure if it was you that walked away or the other person walked away, but I feel like the exchanges that you would have with this person were just so toxic or negative, and it was always about someone trying to one-up the other person. It was never like a healthy discussion. So eventually a situation like this has to end, and someone has to be brave enough to actually let it go, because things were just not going well, is what I'm seeing. The Four of Cups is here as well underneath the Magician. So I'm feeling like even though you or the other person wanted to manifest like a happy ending with this, there was still something from the past that kept popping up in the connection. So that could have been a person from the past that kept popping up, or it could have been just past pain or past grief that was still kind of like interfering in the connection. So I feel like for a lot of you, past situations that were never resolved and wounds that were never healed started to like interfere in the relationship. And that's why things just had to come to an ending. For those of you who aren't in a love relationship, I'm feeling like you just really were in an energy of trying to manifest happiness into your life, but you feel like your past is continuously holding you back, and you feel like it's difficult for you to create a new identity for yourself and to become a better person, because it looks like there's just been a lot of grief or heartache in your past that you're having a hard time moving away from, but you are determined to move away from it, is what I'm seeing, because you're starting to realize your own worth, or you're starting to see what it is that you want and what you deserve. And so some of you are going full speed ahead towards that. So I feel like that was for some of you who didn't resonate with the first message. So let's see for the present, Virgo. The Moon card, okay. The Ace of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, so with the Moon card being here in the reverse, I feel like you no longer feel like you are confused or like you're in the dark, because some of you were feeling quite confused about why this connection just kept on taking the wrong turn, or why things kept going left. But I feel like some of you are starting to see or become aware of why it started to just kind of like break down the connection, I mean. So basically, it's like you started to see what was wrong with you, or what part you played in it. And so it's like you can sleep better at night now, because now you understand, or you accept your role in the situation. So you're seeing the other person for who they are, and that's helping you to kind of get closure and to accept the ending of this. But then also I feel like you did some self-reflection, and you're looking into the mirror at yourself, which is ultimately going to help you to fully heal, so that you won't have to repeat this cycle over again. For those of you who that doesn't apply to, I feel like this is advice. Like, you're needing to not only point the finger at the other person, or write out a list of flaws of the other person, you're also needing to see what patterns that you have that played out a role in why the situation went the way that it went. I feel like a lot of you are wanting to move on with the Ace of Cups being here, like you're ready for a new beginning, and you are ready to kind of let go of this long-term commitment that you were in. Or if it wasn't a long-term commitment, it's like you're ready to let go of the idea that it was going to be long-term, and you're just looking for a brand new start. And that's something that I really admire about Virgo, the sign of Virgo, is that when they see that something is making them unhappy, or when they see that something is hindering their life, they can very easily cut it off. And a lot of signs have a hard time doing that, because a lot of signs, like they get this image in their mind of what things could be instead of seeing what things are. And Virgos have this ability to see things for exactly how they are and act accordingly. So I feel like a lot of you are in that energy, and you are really wanting to manifest a new beginning in your life. For those of you who this has nothing to do with romantic, like this has nothing to do with the love partnership, I feel like you are possibly wanting to start a new job with the Ace of Cups being here, and you're wanting to start a career that you are actually emotionally invested in, so that you won't have to dread going to work every day. So I feel like that's the message for a few of you. So let's see here. I feel like I need to clarify. I feel like I need to clarify those three cards. I'm going to clarify those. The Five of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, and the Hangman. Okay, so it's basically a repeating message. The Four of Wands talks about you letting go, and it's clarifying the Ace of Cups. So it's like you letting the situation go, because you know that in order to have an emotional new beginning or a new start, you have to let things go. Some of you also are starting to see that the ways in which you've been very guarded is going to hinder you from being happy within relationships. So that could be something that you realized about yourself. With the Five of Wands being here, I feel like you have had a lot of internal struggle, because doing the type of work where you kind of dig deep into the shadows and you really see yourself for who you are, it's really not easy. It causes a lot of internal conflict, because you start to wonder if you're the bad guy in the situation, or you start playing the shoulda, coulda, woulda game. And I feel like if you are doing that, there's no need for you to, because everything that you did in that past cycle, it's like you were only doing what you know how to do. So there's really no need to kind of dwell on it, or beat yourself up over it, or have too much internal conflict over it. If you learn from the situation and you know you're going to do better in the future, that's pretty much all that matters. The Hangman is here, so I feel like some of you are feeling a bit stuck. I do feel like a lot of you are kind of in limbo. Like you left that situation, you left that past energy, and now you're kind of like, okay, you're kind of like stuck waiting to see what's going to go on next, or what your next move should be, is what I'm seeing in the present. And so you're going to do the Eight of Pentacles, the Virgo card. So you're going to do what Virgos do. You're going to put your head down and work, and hope that you putting your head down and working will give you some more clarity, or will allow you to get yourself unstuck from this situation or from this energy. Like you're wanting to start over fresh and brand new. So you are dedicated to working towards that. And if you're not doing that, I feel like that's advice for you, because you can still have this Ten of Pentacles. You can still have this happy long-term success. You can still have it, but you just have to work towards it, work on improving yourself, work on just really focusing on not just your abundance externally, but also on yourself internally. And I feel like a lot of you do know that, because the Hangman is like a spiritual card. I read it as a spiritual card. So I feel like a lot of you are aware that you can't just work on things externally. You have to work on yourself within as well if you want to have this long-term happiness and success. So let's pull for the future for you, Virgo. The Seven of Wands, the Devil, and the World card. Okay, so I feel like with the Seven of Wands, there may be some people who are opposing you, or who are not very happy with you at the moment, or if it's not in the moment, it's what's the energy that's coming in, because this is the future. So it could be some people that are not very happy with you, or you're just feeling like you have to keep your guard up or be very defensive, is what I'm seeing in the near future. Let me clarify that. For some of you, you feel like this past person is your twin flame, because the Four of Wands is here. So I feel like there's a lot of internal conflict surrounding that past connection. Very interesting. Because it's like you don't want to shut people out, or you don't want to shut this person out, but at the same time, it's this energy that is a little bit frightening, or is this energy that's kind of like you don't want to be pulled back in or sucked back in. So you kind of have your defenses up, or you have your guards up, is what I'm seeing. And I feel like that may be the right thing to do, because the Devil card is here. So the Devil card talks about, you know, toxic attachments, or the ways that we deal with these toxic attachments, trying to possibly like drink a lot, or smoke a lot, or just do things that kind of take our minds away from our issues and our problems. And I feel like that's what this connection that you were in the past brought you. It's like you constantly felt like you had to escape from it, or you had to constantly like find ways to cope with it. It was just a lot of negative energy. So I feel like in the near future, some of you are going to be a bit defensive, because you're worried about this person coming back into your life, or you're worried about repeating a cycle that you don't want to get back into, is what I'm seeing. So just be very careful in the near future. Be very careful with the ways that you are coping with your feelings, or coping with any pain that might come to the surface, because I feel like you're going to be very tempted to go back to doing things the old way, like the destructive or the toxic way. Whatever way that you used to handle your emotions, I feel like you're going to be tempted to do that again, because it's just easiest for you. It's like we develop defense mechanisms because we have to protect ourselves. So it's difficult to change that pattern, because it's there to protect us. So for example, if you shut down emotionally whenever you know you feel like there's too much going on, that was created within you to help protect you. So it's difficult to just start opening up and just being extra vulnerable, because like I said, that defense mechanism was programmed very deep in order to protect you from harm. So I feel like I said, you have to be very self-aware in this upcoming month, and make sure that you are practicing other ways to self-soothe, as opposed to falling back into destructive coping mechanisms and destructive habits. But with the World card being at the end of your reading, I do feel like this is definitely the end of a cycle. So if you've been in a very difficult cycle, it is going to come to a close, and it looks like you completed it successfully. It looks like you learned a lot about yourself. You possibly, sorry, my camera died. But like I was saying, you possibly learned a new talent or a new skill, or you're taking up a new talent or skill. And it looks like that is going to definitely help you to get your mind off of whatever this past toxic energy is. So it looks like you're going to be doing what you do best, Virgo, continuing to stay focused, continuing to build. Make sure that you are giving yourself time to rest, because I do see a lot of Pentacles here, and the Two of Pentacles is here. So make sure that you are practicing self-care, and that you're giving yourself time to rest. I do see celebration happening in your near future with the Four of Wands being here. And I feel like that's going to be a direct result of you you really working diligently on yourself and you feeling like you have a reason to celebrate now. So make sure that you are celebrating your accomplishments, even if the accomplishment is that, you know, you feel a little bit better today than you did yesterday. Still give yourself that acknowledgement and give thanks and give praise for the small little improvements that you make. So I feel like that is it, Virgo. A lot of you, I feel like I keep on saying that's it, but then another message comes through. A lot of you are going to start feeling like you finally found yourself, like you found exactly where you're supposed to be at, like you finally found your footing. Some of you could be meeting someone new that makes you very happy, that you could start to build something new with. But I just feel like a lot of you are starting to really like balance out your life in a way that you felt like you didn't have the ability to before. It's like now, because this cycle is completing and because you have kind of like upgraded or become a better version of yourself, it's like now you can finally start living, or now you can finally start feeling happy and actually building the life that you want for yourself, is what I'm seeing. So it looks like a lot of prosperity is coming your way, Virgo. So I'm going to do your 2019 spread over on Vimeo, and I will leave the link to that down below. I hope that this was helpful, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.